9 Juicy Facts About Apples. Did you know that Kazakhstan's highlands were where apples first originated? 1. A daily serving of apples wards off illness. We've all heard the idiomatic English saying, but did you realize that it contains a good deal of truth? The consumption of apples can provide a variety of health advantages. Apples' natural acidity aid in the prevention of gout and dyspepsia. Additionally, these acids speed up the digestion of the fruit and any other foods you may be eating at the same time. Eat a ripe, sour apple right before night to treat constipation, which is another use of apple homeopathy. In fact, this leads to another proverb: eating an apple before bed will make the doctor beg for bread. 2. Eve chose a fruit that was prohibited, but it wasn't an apple. Believe it or not, the fruit Eve took from the tree of knowledge in the book of Genesis in the Old Testament wasn't an apple. The fruit Eve chooses in the original tale is only referred to as a fruit and is not explicitly described. Over the years, several different fruit suggestions, from figs to olives, grapes to bananas, have been made as to what this mysterious fruit was. The term forbidden fruit for apples didn't first appear until the 12th century. 3. Myths and stories surround apples. Because apples have been around for such a long time, they are the subject of several myths and stories throughout European civilizations. An important part is played by a golden apple in a chain of incidents that ultimately resulted in Troy's destruction in the epic Greek poetry the Iliad. Idun, the goddess of youth in Norse mythology, offered golden apples to the gods in order to preserve their young till the end of time. In a tale about this, the trickster god Loki kidnaps Idun, causing the other gods to age rapidly. 4. If you sow apple seeds, a new type of apple will emerge. Because of a genetic trait called heterozygosity, each new tree produced from an apple's seeds will produce a different kind of apple. This directly led to the hundreds of recognized apple varieties that exist today. This makes apple farming considerably more challenging, even while it is fantastic for the species' development and its capacity to adapt and live in new conditions. The process of grafting is required rather than starting new apple trees from seeds. Using this method, the roots of a considerably tougher and more resilient variation that was developed from seed are fused to a piece of an existing plant of the target kind. If done correctly, the new seedling with the graft will then produce the appropriate apples. 5. Apples come in thousands of different types. Just considering the apple types we bother to look at, there are more than 7,500 recognized variations. These types may be divided into 3 groups: dessert, cooking, and cider. The primary characteristics used to classify apples are size, color, crispness, flavor, and bitterness. Apples that are more bitter and almost inedible raw are used to make apple cider. Fresh and raw apples are frequently consumed, as well as dessert apples like those used in apple pie. 6. Apples were first produced in Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan may be familiar to most of you because to the popular mockumentary Borat from 2006. However, Borat neglects to add that Kazakhstan is the actual country from where apples first originated. Apples grown today are descended from a wild species known as Malus siversii, which is still surviving in Kazakhstani highlands, according to DNA research of current apple cultivars. 7. Every year, more than 66 million tons of apples are produced. Annual apple production totals more than 66 million tons worldwide. Having produced an astounding 46 million tons of apples, China is by far the greatest apple producer in the world. On the other side, the United States ranks third in terms of production. Only half of the apples grown in America are eaten fresh. The remaining crop is used, among other things, to produce juice, vinegar, jelly, and applesauce. However, a greater portion of the European apple production is used to produce cider. 8. Cider has been made for more than 2,000 years. When the Romans conquered England in the early 55 BC, they discovered that cider manufacturing was well underway and that inhabitants had been drinking it for some time. This indicates that apples traveled from Kazakhstan to England, a distance of almost 3,000 miles, 5,000 kilometers, before the process of fermentation and distillation was developed. Since then, this process has been refined, and by the late 1500s, there were more than 65 distinct apple breeds grown just for making cider. 9. Johnny Appleseed is a folk figure in the USA who planted apples all throughout the country. According to legend, Johnny Appleseed, also known as John Chapman, thought it was evil to grow apples via grafting. He was adamant that planting apples from seed was the only way to cultivate good apples. According to legend, he obtained seeds from Pennsylvania cider factories and then dispersed and sowed apple seeds widely throughout vast swaths of the USA. However, the apples that grew from these seeds were only fit for making alcohol, not for eating. So salute Johnny Appleseed the next time you sip on a refreshing glass of apple cider. Apples have been consumed for thousands of years in a wide variety of ways. Thank you for watching until the end. Don't forget to support us by subscribing to our channel and waiting for the next video update.